Now loading podcast, period.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Podcast Period, the internet's stupidest podcast. My name is Ben, and with me today, as always, is my co-host, David.
Unfortunately. What's up, guys?
Wow, okay. A little touchy tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we're both in a bad mood.
I think you are.
Nah, you just can't take it tonight.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Alright, so as usual, we brought our assortment of articles that we're going to talk about. Things are going to go a little bit differently in the discussion and trailer portions, but we'll get to that when we get to those sections. So, for now, first article that I brought is from Ars Technica. Google wants Samsung to kill Bixby and the Galaxy App Store. Bixby, of course, is Samsung's feeble attempt at an AI assistant, and the Galaxy App Store is the third-party app store that Samsung forces people to have on their Samsung phones. That I think contains all of the apps on the Play Store, but I could be wrong because I don't have a Samsung Galaxy phone, so I don't particularly care. So the down low with this is they're trying to get Samsung to promote the App Store, or not use Bixby and not use the Galaxy Store by, I think, giving them a larger revenue share on the App Store for whatever Samsung apps, they happen to sell through there or whatever. I think this is particularly interesting because Samsung has been trying to push this for going on probably 2 or 3 years now, maybe even longer than that, and Google's finally just gotten tired of it because it's a piece of garbage, and you should use the Google Assistant anyway. So, yeah, there's that.
I think I'm not going to disagree with you that it seems like it's hot garbage. I don't have first-hand experience like you, so we're not entirely 100% in the know based on personal usage, but I think we've both figured out that it is pretty much garbage. So I'm not going to disagree with you on that. I don't want to say it's anti-competitive, but it feels anti-competitive. Like, I feel like if Samsung could do a good job, it'd be great for somebody to have a competitor to the Google Play Store. Just because competition is always nice. I think Samsung has gone about it in the wrong way, and at this point, it's kind of pointless and stupid. So I don't think it's anti-competitive in this sense, because this is just talking about Samsung forcing their users to use their software, and it's not like Google is saying you can't do this and forcing you to use their stuff on all the other devices. If the other ones wanted to try something, I guess go for it. I think Samsung just ruined it so bad that Google's got to step in at this point and be like, okay, you need to fix this or you need to stop using it.
Yeah, I mean...
and they've clearly not fixed it, so...
Yeah, I agree with you that it kind of feels anti-competitive, but is it really competition?
I don't think so. No, and that's why. Because it's just for
work.
Samsung. It's just for Samsung, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So it's not really anti-competitive.
If there was more interoperability between it and the Google Assistant, then I think it may have had more widespread adoption. But as is, it's only within the Samsung ecosystem, which
exactly
isn't really all that big. They've got the phones. I think they might have it on some of their TVs or something like that, and they've got it on their smartwatches too. Oh no, not TVs. Refrigerators. They have Bixby on some of their refrigerators.
Yeah.
Uh, but that's it. They don't have anything else to go along with it. And I mean,
Exactly.
Samsung is a fairly big manufacturer, but I don't think it's big enough to compete on Google's scale per se. Which is kind of sad because I'm sure Google could use some breaking up, but you know.
Well, and that's why I kind of feel like I wish it would continue and be good, but I don't see it as killing competition. I see it as them just going back to the way things should have been.
Promoting the superior product.
Yes, because it is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So,
yeah.
whatever.
All right. You want to go ahead and move on with your first topic?
Alrighty. So, it's kind of a 2-in-1 type deal. It was somewhat old news, but then this particular ousting happened, so it kind of made it relevant again. So, Intel announced last week that they are delaying 7-nanometer production until at least the end of 2022, but more than likely it's going to be 2023. So they're pushing it back once again. And this is after spending, I think, somewhere in the $6 billion range in the last 2 years, buying all the equipment that they can to get a jump start on this production process and actually have enough when they finally get to it, because they spent way too much time diddly-dabbling with 10 nanometer to they should have just gone to this to begin with, but they didn't. So their stock, I think, dropped 16% in a day after record-breaking reports, too. They beat expectations clear across the board, and their stocks dropped 16% because of this one announcement. It was so huge, they lost like $40 billion in company worth. And it has now led to the culmination of their chief engineering officer, CEO, not executive officer, but their engineering officer has been ousted. And the whole engineering side of the company has basically been broken up into 5 different parts with their own head reporting directly to Bob Swan, Chief Executive Officer. So looks like they're really, really, really going to have a hard time. And the biggest thing about this announcement wasn't the fact that they announced a potential delay again. It was announcing that for the first time in Intel's history, they may have to consider using a third party to produce their chips. So, oh my goodness, what has happened? If we had started this podcast 4 years ago, it would have been all Intel all day long, because it was the only thing worth mentioning.
We were both before Ryzen came out, and even I think even a little bit after, we were both still like hardcore Intel. Like there wasn't even a question about which one you should go for. But over this last like year, 2 years, something like that, AMD has just gone through the roof.
It's been a total reversal. I never would have saw this coming.
Nobody
is amazing.
Nobody could have seen this coming. Nobody. No. It's ridiculous. I feel bad for the guy, but at the same time, I feel like Intel has been spinning their wheels for the past 3 or 4 years. Ever since Skylake came out and they realized that, Yeah, we're not going to be able to do the tick, the next tick. We're going to have to do another talk. Yeah, it hasn't been good since then.
Yeah. So it's Murphy R. I can't pronounce his last name, so we're not even going to try.
Yes,
but,
it's an Indian gentleman.
Yes, exactly. So he joined, oddly enough, he joined Intel back in 2016. Was lured away from Qualcomm with an $8.1 million signing bonus. And they haven't done a single thing to advance their cores or their manufacturing process since then.
What was it that they got out of this upcoming generation? Is it the upcoming one, or is it the one that's out right now? I don't know.
The new one that should be coming, who knows when, it'll be the Rocket Lake. They are finally, and I don't know why they haven't just done this. If you can't, because they've been relying on reducing the process their entire history. And it finally caught up to them. At some point, you can't do this anymore with what they're basing CPUs on. You can't do it time and time and time again. Once you gotten down to the size that they're at, there's just no more silica items left. So you're at the very end of what you can do to shrink their node, which is all Intel's ever done in their life, is just relied on that. Why didn't you come up with new cores at least? They've been sitting on the same core for the last 6 years. It's Skylake all over. Every generation since 6th gen is the same core. They're finally coming up with a new one. Why didn't they do that 2 or 3 years ago? You couldn't shrink
probably
it.
Probably because they didn't see, they didn't foresee what was happening with AMD.
Probably.
I'm sure if Ryzen had come out when Skylake was out, like right at the same time, they would have been like, "Oh, yeah, we need to do something."
Yeah. Yeah.
Then again, they are Intel, so maybe not.
Yeah. So if whipping out their pocketbook and spending $6 billion in the last couple of years buying equipment that isn't going to solve their problem with their next node, isn't going to help them, at some point they just got to throw in the towel and admit defeat. That's a scary thought. And that's why they lost 16% of the company.
Yeah.
In a day.
It's crazy. But I wasn't talking about the new cores. I was actually talking about the fact that they had to do something with the heat sink this time around.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, they
actually
had to shrink. They had to shrink down the die.
Yeah.
They actually shaved the die, which is what some enthusiasts were doing with 9th gen. Just to get the temps under control. And even still, it's really not. They're a little bit better, but they are at the end with what they can do with 14 nanometer Skylake.
Yeah.
It's done. There's no more clock speed to be had. There's no more cores that can go into it. 10 is it. They cannot go more. They will not have the temperature to do it. So they're finished with this. So what are they supposed to do?
Ah, man. I don't know. Well, I think we've bashed Intel enough.
Yep.
Let's move on to my next little bit here. So Garmin, the maker of the GPSs of yesteryear, which
I was going to say.
Yeah. I'm 100% sure that almost nobody has them anymore. I remember we my family used to have one, but after smartphones became more affordable, there was no point.
Exactly.
Anyway, so they were a target of ransomware over the last week, I believe.
Oops.
And they were shut down for 4 days.
Ouch.
No, 5 days. 5 days, the article says. I believe that the let's see. What demand did they give? I think they were asking for somewhere in the range of like $10 million or something like that to let them go. I don't see. Oh, I guess they ended up being able to grab hold of their services again without having to pay these guys to unlock their stuff. So that's good. They didn't have to pay anybody, but ooh, ransomware sucks, dude. Especially if you're a
Yeah.
big company like this. Man,
Yeah.
5 days of service outages.
Oof.
That is awful.
Yeah.
I feel for these guys, especially considering. No, I mean, when is the last time you bought something with Garmin on it? Oof. I don't even
I
know. I don't even like they have to be more known for their GPS service than their actual GPSs at this point.
Yeah, I would say so. It's so like 2006.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, poor
All right,
Garmin.
let's move on to the next one. What you got?
All right. Speaking of things that got hacked, again, sort of old news, but it got brought up again because they filed felony charges against somebody. So it was like, oh, time to talk about this again.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter got hacked, and I used Twitter so much that I didn't even notice because I wasn't even on it that day. But
I
there
probably
was
was on it that day, and I still didn't notice. So.
So much for that, right?
Yeah, no
Um,
kidding.
so there was a July 15th breach in where they were trying to get it was basically a Bitcoin scam.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to get, I think they sent out like a link or something like that, by getting it promoted on hijacked accounts of politicians, executives, and celebrities. They basically went for the big, got a check mark verified people, and
Mm.
got this sent out and tried to get a whole bunch of money out of it using Bitcoin, obviously. And Twitter finally got things under control, but they had to shut down all of the promoted accounts like that. I think it was like all day long. Like if you were verified, you were just shut out of your account because they didn't know what else to do. So it raised some flags at Twitter.
I'll say.
Because it's like, yeah, we don't know what's going on. So it's pretty bad. You got to nuke your service to stop something because you can't get whoever it is out.
Yeah, for
Or
real.
figure out what the attack vector is. But they finally pressed charges. So a Florida teen charged as the mastermind on the Twitter attack hitting Biden, Bezos, and others. A 17-year-old Florida teen is facing 30 felony fraud charges. So they charged him today. They charged him today. And two other people. So there's 3 people in total with orchestrating the epic attack and hack of Twitter, using it to generate more than $100,000 in a Bitcoin scam by promoting the hijacked accounts of who we've said and others. Federal prosecutors in San Francisco charged Mason Shepard, 19, and Nima Fazil, 22. Also, they obviously can use those names because they are not juveniles. I do not think the 17-year-old's name has been released yet. I have not found it. Of course, it was just announced today, so poor guy. Kudos to him for being smart enough to get into this. He must be really, really smart. And
yeah, if only he didn't use it for evil.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Like, if you're that good with code and you know what you're doing, clearly you don't know what you're doing enough to not get caught.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the type of people that need to be on the white hat side of things, where they purposely try to get into stuff like this and find all these breaches legally.
Yeah, no kidding.
Under contract by these companies or the FBI or whoever. But no, we're just going to throw away my entire life because
they made $117,000. You'd have to imagine, right? How much would they have made if they would have figured this out and went to Twitter with it?
Exactly.
For like a bug bounty thing.
Exactly. $100,000 is peanuts considering how much trouble you've landed in.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, I always made the joke, if I was ever going to steal money, this place ain't got the money that I need to steal to get myself to an island of non-extradition and never have to work another day in my life and never have to worry about a thing, because I'm sorry, $100,000 ain't gonna cut the mustard.
Yeah, no kidding.
Especially when you get divided by 3 people. That's like $30,000. Well, just over.
You might get to the country, but you wouldn't be able to do anything else.
So what's the point? But you're right. How much money would they have gotten if they had just taken this up the right chain?
I mean, it may not have been $117,000. It could have been, $10,000, $20,000. It could have been more than $100,000. But they wouldn't be going to jail. So there's that.
Stupid decisions get you stupid positions.
Amazing. It's so beautiful. Yeah. Okay. All right. This is something that my fellow nerds will be excited about because I was extremely excited about it when I read about it. The DC animated movies that I like to watch and collect from time to time whenever they come out?
A little bit.
So DC has just announced that they're releasing this fall an animated Choose Your Own Adventure movie based on my favorite DC animated universe movie, Under the Red Hood. So not only do I get to watch that movie again, but I get to choose the adventure. I'm so excited. And it's even the same cast as the original Under the Red Hood. Bruce Greenwood as Batman, Vincent Martella as Jason Todd, John DiMaggio as the Joker. John DiMaggio is the man. I love that man. He's a fantastic voice actor.
So I take it you approve.
Oh. You have no idea how excited I am about this. I am buying this the day it comes out.
Now,
10 million %.
I hate to bust your bubble. Do you think this is going to be one of those that severely, severely upsets you? Or do you think they will finally come up with something that isn't going to let you down and lives up to all your expectations?
I have never had an issue with the DC animated movies. The animated movies is a different side from the live action stuff. So I have high hopes for this.
You have high hopes.
Yes. If this were something coming out of the same house as the Batman v Superman or the Justice League, then I might be a little worried, but I have no reason to worry here. This is a lot of the same people that worked on the original Batman animated series too.
So even if the production and the leadership team, the screenwriters and such, even if you think they somewhat flop at the beginning, you think these voice actors and such can right the ship just because they've done it before. They know how to play the characters. They know how it went the first time. They know how to be successful. You think they can pull it off?
Oh yeah,
they have such
I think
crap
so.
Directors. Or whatever.
You know Bruce Greenwood. He's a fantastic actor. He's you watch The Resident, right?
Yeah.
He is the CEO, Bell.
Oh shit, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay then.
So yes, I have nothing to worry about.
Who do you play?
Huh?
Who do
Oh,
you play in this?
he's Batman.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay then. Oh.
As he was in the original Red Hood, and you probably would have noticed if you actually watched it when I put it on. But whatever.
I'm pretty sure I did. I think I liked it.
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, okay, we'll watch it again someday. Shoot me. Goodness gracious.
Okay. That's me done gushing. What's your last? What's your last topic that you brought?
So Twitter has officially confirmed that it is exploring the idea of a paid subscription model.
Oh boy.
They are surveying users on what features they'd want from a subscription. After CEO Jack Dorsey confirmed Twitter is exploring a subscription model, the company is conducting user surveys on what they'd like to see in the service. And they've got like a whole link sent out. Link to the actual survey.
Mm-hmm.
One thing they've got is undo send, a 30 seconds window for you to withdraw a tweet before anyone can see it. Custom colors. In addition to night mode, you could change the fonts and themes of the fonts and theme color for Twitter on your phone and computer. Background color, links, mentions, hashtags, and icons would appear in whatever color you choose. Recruiting, able to connect open positions and recruit on Twitter. Video publishing, user roles, the ability to give different members of your organization access to your account in a more secure way that doesn't involve sharing usernames and passwords. Basically, admin rights. So there's a bunch of features that they're test polling.
Mm-hmm.
They're thinking about throwing in more advanced analytics, the ability to post longer and higher resolution videos, custom stickers and hashtags, canned responses to select form for faster replies, which I feel like predictive text does a really good job of that anyways, but I think that only counts in text messaging though, doesn't it? It doesn't really work on Twitter yet, does it?
Not as far as I know. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think that would be something that would have to be built in.
Probably. But I'm imagining that's kind of what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Or that's somewhat how it would roll out.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically doing this because they can't get enough ad revenue, is what I understand. They need more revenue. So
I mean, I could see that.
I don't know. We'll save this for the discussion topic. So, if you're done with this, I'm done with this for next.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the discussion topic, since we're kind of rolling into it anyway, let's start with yours.
Okay. So now that Twitter has announced this, is there any social media site, company whatsoever that you would pay an actual subscription to use, be it Twitter, Facebook, or anybody else?
Absolutely
Would you
not.
pay for it?
No. Mm-mm. No.
In the
I would just
case
stop
of
using
Twitter, it's an absolute no. Facebook, it depends on what they did. Because I don't actually hardly post anything anymore these days. I just get on it to see what's on it.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly videos and things. And what is on there is usually on YouTube as well. So
yeah, exactly.
I would say it's a hard pass for me too. The minute you start charging me to use this type of service, is the minute I'm just done.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could care less.
I don't use any of these enough to think that I would need them. I would need to pay for them, you know?
Yeah.
Twitter, I think I use Twitter the most out of the three big ones, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. but at the same time, it's also something that I could absolutely not use if I had to pay money for it.
I think I am with you 100%. Twitter, I know I don't get on it enough as it is. I need to get on, well, maybe not. Maybe I don't need to get on it more if this is the route we're going. I might get on it once a week. I miss so much stuff. It's not even funny. It's basically not even worth doing. By the time I see what I think is funny, like if you've posted something or somebody else has, it's like 3 days later and it's like, well, that'd be kind of creepy if I just start liking things from like a week ago, but that's because that's the first time I've seen it. So, nope, don't think I would do it for them. Actually, I know I wouldn't do it for them. Facebook, like I said, it just depends, but I really don't think so either.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do Facebook.
Instagram,
honestly.
I could care less about, and same with Snapchat.
Yeah. Oh, definitely not Snapchat. I have Snapchat, but I don't think I've opened the app up in probably a good 3-4 months because there's no reason
it's been
to.
longer for that. It's been much longer than that for me. And I don't get on Instagram either. I just don't see the point.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. My discussion topic is it's interesting because we're gonna have to watch something first. So over the 2-week period between us recording this episode and last one, Microsoft had their big Xbox Series X game reveal thing, and they released a gameplay trailer for Halo Infinite. I've already seen it. David has not, as far as I know, anyway.
No, I kind of want to know what else Microsoft announced.
See, that's probably something we should have talked about, but I'm more excited about Halo than anything else they would have talked about anyway. So we're gonna watch that. I've already got my what I want to say, but I want to see David's first reactions and everything. So we're gonna go ahead and watch that. We'll come back and we'll let you know what we think. So, what did you think?
Oh, I cannot wait for this to come out. I don't know why I never got the Halo games when I was younger, but they are just so good. I'm so glad that we have the Master Chief Collection and that we've been able to play them together. This just looks so good. I love the new features that they've added.
Mm-hmm.
The grappling hook looks awesome. The gameplay itself looked really good, looked really interesting. It didn't look like they changed too much as far as what you could and couldn't do, besides the introduction with a couple of new things.
I am glad that they finally added sprinting in. Yes. I know that's probably going to annoy a lot of hardcore OG Halo fans, but I feel like as an FPS in 2020, literally every other FPS, it's not like a competitive shooter like Counter-Strike or something like that, you can sprint.
Yeah.
Every other one. So
there's just so many parts in the map. And I don't know if this one's going to be the same, considering they've actually given you a map this time, and it looks like you can do a little bit more free roam, versus all the other Halo games up until this point have been very storyline, plot-driven, point A to point B, no detours, nowhere else to go. You can't, because it's just not built that way. There's a lot of slow parts that could have used sprinting in the older maps. Going through tunnels, caverns, all that stuff. Yeah. There's a whole lot of that where you could have gotten through it so much faster had you just sprinted.
Mm-hmm.
And the lack of that sometimes gets annoying. So I'm with you on that. The only thing that I'm not a big fan of, and I don't know if it's because it's still a work in progress, and maybe it was an in-engine scene, maybe it wasn't. The brute's face at the end, specifically the fangs and the teeth, did not look very good to me. It looked like it was from a game from 10 years ago. It was somewhat very unrealistic.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because there was a lot of people when this came out saying that the game, like the whole thing, looked like not hot garbage, but something that would have come out in the Xbox One's early lifespan.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's taking advantage.
It still looks good.
Yeah,
but it doesn't look like it's pushing anything.
No.
And apparently this was running on a PC too, so it's not like they couldn't have pushed it a little bit.
And that's what I'm wondering is it playing too low in the lowest common denominator scenario where they're trying to get this game out to the masses, and therefore you have to optimize for this biggest amount of hardware out there and not set your bar too high, even though the consoles themselves look like they're going to be very capable this generation, and we're not going to be held back by them
we'll
for
see
at least the next few years.
The big thing is it's releasing on the Xbox One too. So
is it?
Yes.
Okay, so then they are going to have to play lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
It might not even be PC. It probably isn't. It probably is going to be the Xbox One.
Oh, no doubt. I mean,
which sucks.
You have to think hardware from 2013. Even if you're looking at the
newest
Scorpio.
Yeah.
What was that one? What was the official name for that? I don't even remember. The Xbox One X.
Yes, the One X.
Even if you're looking at that, that's still, a couple years old, if not more than that?
Yeah, and it wasn't necessarily the best of AMD's reign either.
Yeah.
This was solidly in their craptastic, didn't have anything to show for it. Definitely not Zen 2, which is what the new ones are supposed to be based on.
Mm-hmm. See, as long as
I didn't really notice it until that part, though.
As long as they don't gimp all of the other versions because of the Xbox One, I think this looks okay.
Yes.
It doesn't look fantastic, but I mean, I don't know. It's also a pre-release gameplay reveal. They've got a good few months before this thing is actually going to come out. Yeah. And I mean, it's not like we didn't have some fantastic PC ports that for games that came out on the Xbox One. Like look at Gears 5 and Gears 4. Mm-hmm. Both of those games are drop dead gorgeous on PC.
Yeah.
You know they're not looking anywhere near as good on the Xbox One.
No. And even
so, as long as they can pull that off with Halo Infinite, I'm fine with this gameplay trailer.
Exactly. I'm with you on that. And maybe that's what they will do. And I know it's a totally different developer, but I wonder if we can get the same performance uplift that we got when they relaunched GTA 5 for the Xbox One, because originally that was coded for a 360.
Yeah.
And it took them a year to port it to PC. And
well, I'm sure
so
I'm sure that 343 has access to a Series X development kit already, and I'm sure they've had one for a while. Yeah. So I'm thinking I'm pretty sure both versions are coming out at the same time. So
they might.
We'll have to wait and see. I'm still excited about this.
Yeah, no, definitely. I just think it could have looked a little better.
Yeah, I'm with you. It definitely could have looked a little better. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get into our trailer section. And the first trailer I brought was another one for Halo Infinite. I wanted to watch the gameplay reveal because I had some things that I wanted to see if David saw, and clearly he did. Did you feel like the gameplay was long enough, that there was a lot in there?
See, you brought in this topic, and I looked at an 8-minute video, and I was like, because he's whined and complained that this isn't long enough this entire time, I see the video he's talking about. It's an 8-minute video. It's like, what are you talking about? It's not long enough. I get halfway through it, and then we get to that cutscene at the end, and I'm like, damn, I want more. Damn, I want more.
See? That's what I'm saying. Now you understand.
Well, I watched it, so now I get it.
Okay, anyway, so I've got a trailer for Halo Infinite, not 8 minutes long. So we're gonna see. I don't know how much they reused from the gameplay premiere, or if they reused anything. So I just wanted to watch it and see if there's any new stuff in it. And I also just wanted to watch more stuff about Halo. So sue me. All right, Halo Infinite, first trailer.
Spartan, we thought you dead. Yet here you stand. Humans call you their savior. The Covenant, demons, the banished, prey. Bare your fangs, Spartan. Fight hard. Die well.
Oof. You thought the gameplay trailer wasn't long enough. That was definitely
know.
not long enough.
So short. Ugh.
So good, though.
Yes, they reused a little bit, but
A little bit, but a lot
Not
of it
much.
looked new.
yeah, that was, man, that gets me so hyped up for this game.
It
I'm
really
so
does.
excited.
I'm still going to have the same complaint. They really got to do something with the brute.
Yeah.
It don't look terrible, but it looks bad. Like,
From
come
what
on, you
from
can
what
work on
I've heard, they've promised to try and fix all of the issues that people are complaining about before the release of the game. So hopefully when we download the game, we come into a much more fully realized
Yes.
version of Halo Infinite than we saw
Yes.
in the gameplay trailer. At least graphics wise, I think, as far as I can tell, gameplay, they've got it down. This looks
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
So
Just gotta throw a little spit and polish at it and trim up some decorative edges a little bit.
okay, so next trailer we have is for X-Men: The New Mutants. It's actually, I'm pretty sure we've watched a trailer for this before, but this is a newer one. So I wanted to watch it and see if we
It's
liked it
changed.
still. Yeah.
The new mutants are dangerous.
You're not going anywhere.
This place takes your greatest fear and makes her live through it. Roberto? Sam? Ileana? Danny? Rain?
We can get out of this together.
This place is designed to keep us inside.
He's right. It's magic.
So am I.
That was so hot.
The New Mutants, rated PG-13.
Okay, so what did you think about the new trailer?
I don't really necessarily think it changes my opinion of the movie very much. I so totally want to see this.
Yeah, it looks really, really. It's definitely a different take to what we've seen from some of the superhero movies, especially X-Men movies before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I would go watch this in the theater. 100%.
I would if I was with you. Me by myself, no. It's only because I don't feel like watching it by myself. That there's probably going to be there actually have been Marvel movies that I would totally go see by myself if I had to. This isn't going to be one of them. It's still a really good movie, and if it's out before we get a chance to meet up again, then I will watch it by myself. Just not in the theaters.
Yeah.
So when it comes
can't
out
blame
on
you.
rental, I'm definitely going to watch it.
Okay, so our next trailer is for The Vanished.
Can we go fishing when we get there, Dad?
You and me, we are gone fishing, sweetheart.
I'm really glad we're doing this. Some family time.
Come on, kitten. It's getting cold out here.
She's not in there. Taylor! Taylor! Where is she?
We pray to God that our daughter Taylor comes back to us unharmed.
I'm real sorry to hear about your daughter. How old was she?
Why did you say was?
Police told us that we could help search tonight.
What if she was distracting you so that her husband could take our daughter?
I think it's time for you and Mrs. Michelson maybe to go to a hotel.
I'm not going anywhere until my daughter is back here with me safely.
We should be out there searching.
What is that?
We have to get the police.
No, he'll be caught by then. I'll grab the gun.
Winnie, stop.
On the south side of the lake, we found the body of a camper.
We are murderers.
Oof, what is going on here?
I don't know. This looks really interesting.
It does. I like it. It seemed like it was somewhat predictable at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot of twists and turns that I didn't think were coming, so...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I like this a lot.
I would put this as another go see in the theaters. I think.
I think so, too. Yeah.
Okay. So our next trailer is for Project Power.
Power, power, speak a little louder.
If there was a pill
Hungry for that money, I'm coming to devour.
that could give you 5 minutes
Spit it so they get it. I'm embedded with the power.
of pure power,
I'm embedded with the power.
would you take it? You don't know who I am and what I'm about, but I'll do anything to find that source. Listen to my voice. Am I lying?
Welcome to Project Power. Our goal is simple: the next evolution of the human species.
You ever taken one of those before? It can make you strong, make you invisible. You never know what your power is until you try it.
This thing is tearing our city apart. Your kid has something to do with it? Where do you think they got the formula from? They have my daughter. Maybe we can work together on this. What do you need? You still got the pills on you? Tell me where my daughter is! Look out! We're gonna end this. It's time to rise! It's time to rise!
That's another very interesting thing.
I hope you understand that when this comes out, we're doing it for the podcast.
You like it that much, huh?
Yes. This looks fantastic.
I thought you'd like that.
Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Yes, please.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I love the concept behind it. The whole thing just looks like a total trip out action-packed movie, and I absolutely love it.
I am so excited. Ooh, yes. Okay, so for our last couple of trailers, David brought something a little bit different. Do you want to explain what you want to do with this?
So, this was totally accidental.
Mm-hmm.
I found this trailer, and of course it was in one of the big, long movie list trailers where there's no easy way to get the individual trailer out of the long movie, so I always go and find the Source trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I found the wrong Source trailer this time around. And I actually liked it so much, I wanted to rewatch it. And I was like, oh, what is this? This is terrible. So, I'm not going to say which one's which. I think you may have already found out. But
I think you labeled it. You labeled it for me. So
yeah. Well, okay, but still, I think this is a concept that we could do more often if you like the concept, anyways.
Okay.
This is a perfect example of how a trailer can do everything for our initial responses to this, and why you need to do a good job with your trailers. Because if I had watched the first one that I accidentally found for us, I would have probably shelved this entire idea.
Okay.
So we're going to watch it, and I want to see what you think.
So these are trailers for a movie called The Second. We're going to watch the quote-unquote inferior version first. We'll talk about that, and then we'll watch the superior version.
Sure,
and see if our opinions have changed, or at least if my opinion has changed, because you've already seen both of them.
Yes.
Okay, so The Second, inferior version.
Hey, hon.
They closed the dorm at 5. I told Sean you're running late.
Yeah, thank you. I'll call you as soon as I get there.
Shawnee!
Hey!
Bud!
Is that your girl?
No, that's Erin Walton. Yeah, Justice Walton's daughter.
Did you say your driver was new?
Yeah, why?
Maybe we should call your dad and make sure.
Move in now.
What about Papa Bear and Baby Bear?
Expendable.
Sean said you're a Green Beret.
Make the call.
Daddy?
Aaron.
Dad!
Get down now.
Oh my...
You're surrounded by a team of highly trained operatives.
I have your daughter again. And if you don't do what I tell you to do, something terrible will happen to her.
I'm giving you 5 minutes to exit the building.
You should have had your package and been out in 2.
His name is Major Vic Davis. Green Beret 21. Confirmed kill count was over 50. Deadly, and he will not hesitate to kill you.
So, what's your initial impression on this?
Maybe your labeling of it influenced me a little bit, but at the same time, watching that gave me all of the same feelings that watching a bad trailer has before for this podcast. Like, it wasn't necessarily confusing, but at the same time, it did not pull me in at all. The shot choice was poor. Their narrative was extremely unstructured, as far as I could tell. And I don't know, it just didn't, and the song choice, it was one song throughout the whole movie, or throughout the whole trailer, which isn't a bad thing, but I don't know, it just felt, it
felt really disconjointed to me.
Yes.
And I really had issue with the text, the way they brought it in. The flash across the screen text with the actors' names and a couple of the scenarios that are happening. I didn't like the style, the font, anything about that at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I didn't mean for you to read what you read as far as inferior and superior. But let's go ahead and take, okay, based on this, without, if this was all you saw, what do you think?
I would have to say, I would have to say either. No, I'm not even gonna give it that. I wouldn't see it. I wouldn't see it. I was gonna say wait for review, but honestly, if I didn't think that it was going to get better based on just that, no, I wouldn't see it.
Okay, which is fair. And I don't want to influence your decision at all. So if you think it's fair to say that, then say it. But don't just because of... I don't want you to try to prove my point.
No. This does not... Right now, it does not feel like something I would want to see.
Okay. Well, let's watch the second one and see if your opinion changes.
Okay.
All right, people, dorm is closed for the holiday season, so everybody out.
When's your dad picking you up?
I guess when he gets here.
I'm here to pick up Aaron Walton.
I'm gonna need to scan your license.
Do we need to do this every time?
Nope, but you're not Miss Walton's regular driver.
I'm impressed.
You should call me.
Yeah, I will.
Johnny!
Hey!
bud!
Yeah.
How you been?
I know. Is that your girl?
No, it's Erin Walton, Justice Walton's daughter.
Like Supreme Court Justice Walton?
Hold on, I'll be right back. I forgot my laptop. I'll be quick, I promise.
Who's left inside?
It's just the two of us. We're the last ones in.
Did you say your driver was new?
Yeah, why?
Maybe we should call your dad and make sure. We gotta get you out of here.
Name's Major Vic Davis.
Green Beret 21.
Deadly and he will kill you.
They need Aaron alive, but you and I, they'll shoot on sight.
It's too bad we didn't meet under different circumstances. Could have been friends.
What do you think?
That was a million times better.
Right?
That made that wow. That was an entirely different movie based on that trailer. Like 100%. I cannot stress this enough, guys. Like, honestly, the first trailer was so disjointed and so wonky. This one felt so much more professionally put together. There was an actual narrative that I could follow. And the song choice wasn't some generic rock tune layered behind dialogue and explosion sounds. This was so much better.
And to be perfectly on, to set the record straight, guys, this original trailer, the inferior version that we watched, it's not like it's a fan-made trailer or it's like a preview type deal. It came from the actual production company. It is on their YouTube channel. The inferior version is the one on the production company's channel. I had to go somewhere else to get the good one, which is the one that was not sponsored, but utilized in the trailer roundup that I found it from originally. Which is why I went for this one, because it was from the actual creators of it. I thought it was the same one. I'm so glad I checked that. Because if I hadn't watched that and you'd watched that, I'd be like, this is not the same thing I watched. And you'd be so disappointed in this movie. And I could not blame you at all. And I'd be like, am I having a stroke or something? This is not what I remember.
Yeah, that has changed my rating completely. I would 100% go see this in the theaters. I don't know if there's a theatrical release or not, but it looks really good.
And it's all based on the trailer.
Yes.
So
that's
get
crazy.
your trailers done right, because otherwise, crap like that.
There could have been movies that we watched on this trailers that we watched on this podcast before with that same issue, where we found the worst version, and somewhere out there's a good version that we're never going to find.
Exactly.
Because we're not giving the movie the benefit of the doubt, and we're not going to go back through all of our episodes and scrub and see which ones were bad. But the fact of the matter remains, the trailer plays a big part in whether somebody's going to go see your movie or not.
Yes.
And I mean, granted, you could just pull somebody in without them having seen the trailer, but you're going to reach the majority of the audience with the trailer. And if the majority of the audience saw that first trailer, nobody would be going to see this movie. It was so bad.
I am so glad we have come to the same conclusion. I I felt like that was like the perfect example of what I was trying to communicate, and I completely stumbled upon this by accident, guys. This is a revelation. This is so different. I didn't like the first trailer at all. I watched like 30 seconds of it. It's like, what is this? This is not what I saw earlier. This is garbage. So,
oh my goodness.
Yes, I would see that in the movie theater 100% based on the
second trailer.
Superior. Okay, do you think my rating system, while it may have been, I should have put first option and second option. I shouldn't have given it away. Next time that happens, I won't. Do you think my rating system was correct, though? Was I not correct to say it like that?
Absolutely. Like I said, when we were watching that first version, I got all the same feelings that I do when any other time we watch a bad trailer on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Just got this like sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach, like, oh man, this is not good.
No.
This is pretty bad.
It didn't look like it has any potential whatsoever.
No, Man, wow. We might have to seek this one out and watch this too. One of these days.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm really into it. I like the story. The action looked okay in the first trailer too.
Yeah,
but it was cut together in such a crappy way, and
yeah. The second trailer definitely put things together a lot.
Yes, it did.
A lot better.
So there's that.
Wow.
We're going to cut both of them in the best we can. I would highly suggest. Most of the time, I cut in enough that I think you can get the gist of what we're trying to communicate when we watch these trailers. You need to go see this difference yourself. I'll make sure to link both in the show notes and the YouTube description wherever you might happen to be listening to this at. So exactly.
If you do have a morbid curiosity, both of those will be down there.
Yes. And see if you agree or disagree with those findings, but I really hope there hasn't been a golden movie that we've totally trashed on this podcast because of crap like that.
Yeah.
Well, we have no idea.
That's what I'm afraid of, but at the same time, what can we do?
I wonder how often that happens. Like, I know they make multiple trailers for movies. And usually it'll be from the same production studio. They'll have 1, 2, and 3, sometimes more. Alternate edits of trailers and stuff. But I've usually seen them being clips of the same thing put together in a slightly different way. Some new scenes added, some new scenes deleted. But none of them have been as transformative as that right there.
I don't know. I feel like it probably doesn't happen as much for like bigger movies. Because, you look at a Marvel movie, they release trailers 6 months out, 3 months out, a month out, and you get progressively more, but you're not going to find really different versions of those.
No.
So, I don't know. It's hard to say, but we definitely found a good example of it this time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where we're going to leave this episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Please be sure to leave a rating on whatever podcasting platform you happen to be listening on. And we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks for listening to this episode of Podcast Period. This episode was hosted and produced by Ben and co-hosted and edited by David. You can contact Ben on Twitter at BenPlaysVidges. That's Ben Plays VIDYAS. And you can contact David on Twitter at Car6by16. If you'd like to chat with us about any of the topics on this episode, you can hit up the show at Podcast Period on Twitter, or shoot us an email at podcastperiodpodcast@gmail.com. We also have a new website that has launched featuring new articles written by us as well as links to all the episodes. Please visit that at podcastperiod.com. Want to do more for the show but aren't sure how? We have a Patreon for that. For as little as $1 a month, you can get early access to episodes and so much more, and support the show while doing it. Just go to patreon.com/podcastperiod. Do you love sci-fi movies and shows? So do we. That's why we created the podcast from Planet X, a podcast where we analyze and discuss your favorite pieces of sci-fi media. Check it out at the link in the show notes. That's all for this week. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
This was a Nerdgasm podcast production.
Well, that was another in a long series of regrettable life choices.
Served at nerdgasmpodcast.com.